Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the Contender series that premieres this Tuesday, tomorrow, as I record this right now. First, we're going to be talking about Vinicius Oliveira versus Victor Hugo Madrigal. Vinicius Oliveira is 18-3, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Oliveira is a minus 435 favorite. At 27 years old, stands 5'9", trains out of Sombra Team MMA, fighting Victor Madrigal, who's 12-3, 4-1 as well in his last 5 fights. Pretty big underdog at plus 285, 33 years old and 5'7". The thing that I really like about Vinicius Oliveira, if you watch him, is this fighter right here has 16 finishes. Now, another thing I don't like about him is he has been finished 3 times. All 3 of his losses are by punches. He lost to Ali Talib back in 2022, July 2nd, 2022. Lost in the 3rd round. Lost to Adriano Ramos punch in the 1st round back in 2019, and lost to Christian Quinarez doctor stoppage back in 2018. That one is whatever at that point, but that one's just a doctor stoppage. But that I don't care for. But something I do really like about this fighter is he's fought some really good competition. 7-3, 11-3, 14-1, 12-3, 7-3, 12-2. He's fought some really good competition, and that shows me there that he's not like, he has a good record, but we don't really know how good he is. I think that helps a lot when you're talking about a fighter. 16 finishes, and he has, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 first round finishes. I really, really like this fighter. Again, chin is a little questionable at times. And Victor Madrigal, like I said, he's 12-3. He's 10 finishes out of his 12 wins. 7 by TKO or KO, 3 by submission. Has been finished with punches 1 time in his career, which was actually recently in 2019, September 27th, 2019, against Marcelo Rojo, who we've actually seen in the UFC, and he's not good. He also beat Christian Quinarez, who also is in the UFC as of right now. His competition, though, it is good, but it's not as good for sure. He actually fought both Quinarez and beat them both. 13-2, 7-2, fight 15-6, lost. 14-2, 23-9, and 10-5. 13-9 when he was 5-0, 5-1 when he was 6-0. So some pretty good. Lost a split decision to Pipe Vargas, 4-0. He was 7-0. Again, he has some pretty good competition as well. I like the length from Oliveira a lot in this fight. I do think he can get a little lackadaisical at times when he's in the pocket, when he gets comfortable and confident. But I think he wins this fight, and I think it's going to be another finish. This fight, if you're looking to bet, does not go the distance. So, good fight. I think Vinicius Oliveira pulls it off. Next, we have Ernesta Caracati versus Carly Judice. Jesus. Ernesta 4-0-1. She's 4-0-1 in her last 5 fights. A plus 155 underdog. 25 years old. Stands 5'9". Carly Judice 3-0, minus 225 favorite. 24 years old. Ernesta, if you look at her and you watch her, because there's not a lot of tape on her, but if you watch her, she has 2 finishes. The rest of them are decisions, but she's 2-0 in kickboxing, had a boxing bout, won that one, and then a split decision win in MMA, couple finishes in MMA as well. Competition, though, she's fought has not been great. 0-1, 2-0, 4-0-1, and then now she's fighting another 3-0 girl. And if you look over at Carly Judice, who's only 24 years old, that seems wild to me. She has all finishes. And that is the reason why I'm picking Carly Judice over Ernesta. I just think her finishing ability is going to be way too much. The way she hits, the way she strikes, I think Ernesta leaves herself out there to be hit a little bit. Even when she's gone to decisions, she's kind of if she can't get a hold of you, it's been a little bit of a problem for her. So I like Carly Judice for sure as the betting favorite at minus 225. I like her a lot in this fight. Next, we have Danny Silva versus Angel Pacheco. Danny Silva 7-1, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. The one loss is in the LFA 9 months ago against Kanan Kawai majority decision. He's a slight favorite at minus 170. 26 years old, 5'11" with a 71-inch reach. Fighting Angel Pacheco, plus 130 underdog, 7-1, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. His one loss is against Nate Williams 2 years ago. Since then, he's gone on 4-fight winning streak and all finishes. 31 years old, 5'8", so he's a shorter guy, but something I like a lot with him, and you look him up, he has 7 finishes out of his 7 fights. His one loss is a decision, like I said, against Nate Williams. The one thing that I do question is just how good he is, because like 5-2, 9-14, 9-13, 12-8, 1-0, 2-1, 0-1. The competition hasn't been great for Angel. And, Danny Silva, who's 7-1, like I said, 5 finishes with his hands. He has a 3rd round finish, a 2nd, a 3rd, a 2nd, a 1st. Competition also for him isn't great, but he's also only 7-1. So his competition seems a little bit better. 4-1, he lost the decision, like a majority. Guy was 6-2, 4-0, 2-3. This is the worst one. 0-2, 3-6 is awful. Is this guy 4-7? So the guy's gone 1-1 since that fight in 2019. Not good. He was submitted when he was an amateur in 2018, but is what it is. It's not that big of a deal. But I like Danny Silva in this one. I think he's able to pull it off. I think he's just a little bit better. I think he keeps his range a little bit better. I think he throws his punches a little bit better, a little bit more crisp, not as wild and chaotic. I like the slight favorite at minus 170, Danny Silva. Next, we have Alexander Zoldytikin, versus Mario Piazon. What are these names? Alexander's 14-3, minus 410 favorite, 30 years old, 6'2". Mario Piazon, who's 6-0, plus 275 favorite, 25 years old, stands at 6 foot. 2-inch height advantage for Alexander. Like I said, he's 6-0, 5 finishes with his hands, and 5 of them are in the first round. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Wild chaos. He went to a decision with Silverio da Silva, 11-7. That guy was Thiago, whatever that last name is, 11-17. Competition is not great, and he's fighting Alexander Zoldytikin, who's 30 years old. 14 wins, like I said, 12 by finish. 3 by submission, 9 by TKO or KO. Has never been finished on the feet. Has been finished 1 time on the ground. Competition, it's not even close. 5-2, 12-5, 10-3, 13-3. 10-5, 13-7, 6-0, 4-0, 4-2, and then it starts to get a little bit worse down here, as you would expect. And his 3 losses, he hasn't lost since 2019. What is that? January, February, March, April. April 14th, he hasn't lost. Or I guess May 1st is when he got back on track. But he started his career 3-2, and he has done nothing but win. 11 straight wins. This is a fighter who is deceptively fast and has good combinations. He's not overly technical, I would say, but he's definitely cautious in where he when he throws. He doesn't really overswing too much. Like, he has a lot of first round finishes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 out of his 14 wins are 10 first round finishes. There's a lot. And then 1 second round finish, 2 second round finishes. So he is the absolute guy that I'm picking in this one. Again, I just think he's a little bit better. I think he's faced some better competition. Anything can happen, of course, but I like Alexander as the minus 410 favorite. Huge favorite. Next, we have Danny Barlow versus Raheem Forrest. Danny Barlow, left hand to God. Oh, okay. 28 years old, 6'2", with an 80-inch reach. Law school, MMA is where he trains out of. Raheem Forrest, 7-1, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. And his one loss is against Charles Radke, rear naked choke 5 months ago. The guy that got on the mic and started saying some stupid stuff. 26 years old. Raheem Forrest, as we've seen him and we've watched him before, if you guys haven't, you need to. 5 finishes out of his 7 wins. Lost to him in the first round. Radke hits really hard, also throws pretty well. Not in his debut, but throws pretty well. We don't know a whole lot about him because competition is not great. 2-1, 2-2, 5-0, 5-4, 6-1. And then Radke's 6-3, and then 6-2. He gets back on track with a 26-second finish against Tristan Vines, which again is huge. Tristan Vines is now 6-3. He was 6-1 at the time. All 3 of his losses are by finish, so it's not that big of a shocker, to be honest. Now he started slow in a couple of his fights. If you go and you find them and you watch his fights and stuff, he does tend to start pretty slow. Now Danny Barlow, 6-0, like I said, 4 finishes out of his 6 wins. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 finishes in the first round. Has gone to decision a couple of times. Competition, not great. 5-5 is the most experienced guy he's fought. Raheem Forrest, 7-1 is the most, at 6-0, no, 7-1 is the most experienced fighter he's fought. Most experienced guy he's fought. I like Danny Barlow in this one. Again, I think he's a little bit more technical on the feet. I think he keeps his distance a little bit better, and I think he hits shockingly hard. I like Danny Barlow. Hopefully this helps you guys. Hopefully you guys get your picks on this one. Let me know who you're picking, if you agree, if you disagree, and as always, until next time, peace.